because we feel great.
Hey, legends in the making, you're tuned to WWE Uncovered, bringing WWE to your screen daily. Hit that bell, and let's start. What happened on Monday Night Raw was the kind of twist that makes the entire wrestling world sit up straight and ask, did that really just happen? For weeks, Seth Rollins had been talking about loyalty, about brotherhood, about how the bond formed in the Shield was the kind of connection that could survive anything. Fans believed him. Roman Reigns believed him. Everyone thought that, no matter how far they drifted as characters, Seth and Roman would always come together when it counted. But instead of reaffirming that brotherhood, Seth made a choice that sent shockwaves across Raw, leaving Roman stunned and the WWE Universe absolutely speechless. How Seth's promise became a turning point. Only 3 weeks ago, Seth Rollins looked Roman Reigns in the eyes, clasped hands with him, and spoke about unity, respect, and the unbreakable foundation that the Shield once stood on. It was a moment dripping with nostalgia and emotion, one that made fans believe the bond was still alive beneath the surface tension. Seth said family came first, no matter what stories, championships, or factions came between them. It felt like a renewed pact between brothers, but that emotional moment wasn't leading to unity. It was setting the stage for the kind of twist that makes wrestling storytelling unforgettable. Roman Reigns, outnumbered and outmatched, fast forward to this week's Raw. Roman Reigns found himself trapped in the perfect storm, a storm built by enemies, both old and new. The Judgment Day swarmed him. Solo Sikoa's emerging faction made their presence felt, and the chaos surrounding Roman reached a level even he couldn't fight off alone. The tribal chief, who has dominated WWE for years, was suddenly overwhelmed. For the first time in a long time, Roman needed help. And there, at the top of the ramp, Seth Rollins appeared. The crowd erupted, expecting the reunion that would blow the roof off the arena. Roman looked up, and for a split second, hope flickered across his face. The moment Seth turned his back. But that hope vanished in an instant. Instead of running to the ring to stand beside Roman, Seth simply stared, smirked, and turned away. It wasn't a misunderstanding. It wasn't hesitation. It was a deliberate choice that cut deeper than any chair shot, deeper than any storyline betrayal we've seen in years. Seth didn't ignore Roman. He rejected him. For fans who grew up watching the trio that once ruled WWE as the Shield, this moment hit like a punch to the chest. It was the final confirmation that Seth Rollins' so-called vision for Raw was a path he intended to walk alone, even if it meant burning every bridge behind him. Roman Reigns' response. A quiet warning. Roman Reigns didn't explode in anger. He didn't cut a dramatic promo. Instead, he responded in the calmest and most chilling way possible. During an appearance later that week, when asked about Seth's betrayal, Roman simply said, "I know who to call." Those 5 words sent the wrestling world into a frenzy. Fans immediately started speculating, dissecting every past relationship Roman has had, every ally, every rivalry. But there was one name everyone kept coming back to, a name that changed everything the moment it entered the conversation. The shocking whisper of a return. Within minutes, social media was flooded with speculation. Jon Moxley. A man who hadn't stepped foot in WWE in years. A man who left to forge his own identity, reinvent himself, and prove he was far more than just the third member of a legendary trio. The idea that Roman Reigns might be calling him ignited a wildfire of excitement. Fans re-watched Shield highlights, posted old promos, and debated whether the impossible might actually be happening. What started as a whisper quickly evolved into one of the biggest conversations in wrestling. why Moxley matters in this storyline. The beauty of this story isn't just the nostalgia, it's the emotional complexity behind it. Jon Moxley, despite everything he achieved outside WWE, never dismissed the Shield. He never attacked Roman Reigns' character. He never belittled what they built together. In interviews, he always acknowledged that the brotherhood they formed was real in the context of their characters, and that it shaped his entire career. So when Roman said he knew who to call, fans knew exactly what kind of storm Seth Rollins had created for himself. It wasn't just about backup. It was about bringing back the one man who could make this story bigger than anything WWE has done in years. The Shield's history becomes relevant again. This storyline works not because it rewrites the past, but because it embraces it. The Shield was built on unity, loyalty, and a promise to dominate WWE together. But it also had cracks. Cracks that began with Seth Rollins being the first to break away. He was the one who swung the chair in 2014 and shattered the group. Even though they reunited for emotional moments afterward, that original betrayal never fully disappeared. Now, years later, Seth's decision on Raw feels like history repeating itself, and Roman Reigns is finally ready to address it head-on. What a potential Moxley return means for WWE. The idea of Jon Moxley returning, whether for one night, one match, or a long-term run, would be seismic. He wouldn't be returning as the same character he left behind. He would be stepping into WWE as a hardened, battle-tested version of himself, carrying the aura and intensity he has built across multiple wrestling promotions. Under the modern environment of WWE Creative, which gives performers far more freedom, this could be the perfect time for Moxley to step back into the world he once ruled alongside Roman and Seth. The nightmare Seth never expected. Seth Rollins prides himself on being unpredictable, but nothing could have prepared him for what Roman might be planning. If Roman brings back Moxley, Seth won't just be facing an old friend turned rival. He'll be facing two men who know him better than anyone else. Two men who shared the road, the battles, and the legacy of the Shield. Two men who watched him rise, and watched him betray them more than once. Storyline-wise, this becomes the ultimate reckoning for Seth Rollins, the moment where all his choices come crashing back. Raw's future could change overnight. With Seth leading his vision of Raw and Roman potentially aligning with Moxley, the brand could be thrown into total chaos, scripted chaos of the highest entertainment value. Seth's faction would immediately become the Hunted. Roman and Moxley together would be a force unlike anything Raw has seen in years. Their chemistry is undeniable, their presence overwhelming, and their connection to Seth makes the rivalry emotionally explosive. The countdown begins. The only question left is simple. When? When will the music hit? When will the arena explode? When will Seth Rollins realize the consequences of the choice he made on Raw? Whether Jon Moxley returns next week, next month, or in the biggest surprise of the year, one thing is clear. The story has momentum, energy, and an emotional core that fans are already invested in. Roman Reigns made his move. Seth Rollins made his choice. And now, the WWE Universe waits for the moment when everything comes full circle and the Shield's legacy writes its final chapter.